If it weren't for Ed Sheeran, I wouldn't have met my wife. I've got to be honest, the beginning of this story starts with the darkest season of my life. In 2016, I lost my mother to a rare form of dementia and ALS. Nothing in life can prepare you for such a loss. I was cold, broken, alone, and I missed everything about her. Her perfect smile, the way she could comfort me in any situation, and her love for lighthouses. All I was trying to do was survive and process, and the best way I knew how to do that was through music. In 2017, Ed Sheeran released a song called Supermarketflowers, a song about losing a mother. I knew I wanted to create my own arrangement of the song and post a video to tribute my mother. Not for attention, not for views, but for healing, and the response was overwhelming. My hope was that it would connect with one person, let alone thousands. Strangers reached out to share their own stories of loss, and together we found solace in the music and pain we shared. And then one day, I got a message from this girl from Miami. Little did I know the person I was talking to on the opposite side of the US was my future wife. As the years passed, this cover connected with more grieving strangers. I even released an entire album dedicated to my mother, and of course, continued a sporadic social media friendship with this Miami girl. Her name was Danny. She was so kind, talented, and thoughtful. She even made a point to message me a birthday wish for my mom each year. I can't explain it, but the connection she had built with my mother almost felt like she knew her. Deep down, I felt like there was a bigger reason for us messaging in the first place. But how do you share that over Instagram? Towards the end of 2021, I had this repeating thought that would keep me awake at night. Am I always going to wonder about this girl in Miami? I couldn't let that happen, so I spilled and told her exactly how I was feeling, that I had to meet her in person, and bought a ticket the next day. It sounded insane when I said it out loud, but it felt even more irresponsible to not go. I felt every moment of that trip. Those 5 hours of flying were an eternity. Then suddenly, the plane's tires hit the landing strip, and I sprung out of my seat with electric anticipation flowing through my veins. The gate corridor light started to near. My pupils dilated. I sprinted out of the plane, dodging bystanders left and right. At first glance, I appeared to be a man who was minutes from missing their flight, but this was no hurry. This was a celebration, a triumph towards reunion, and my mother was lighting my path. Reaching baggage claim 23, I found myself winded. I removed my glasses to defog them, and at that exact moment, the sound started to fade. Hundreds of faces blurred, and there she was. She was perfect. Everything was in slow motion, and our embrace triggered a kaleidoscope time-lapse of my future that felt like dormant memories surfacing to shore for the first time. We ascended into what was easily the best week of my life. During that week, Danny even took me to a lighthouse in Miami. The path leading up to the lighthouse was stunning in itself. Chills ran down my spine as we got closer and closer. And this may sound insane, but for the first time in 5 years, I felt my mother's presence. My eyes welled up with tears. It was in that very moment I knew that she'd been guiding me to Danny the whole time. It was at this very location that I proposed to Daniela months later, and it was also where we got married. It's difficult to grasp that all of this started with the Supermarketflowers video. It all started with my mother. She always believed in me, she believed in my music, and she would consistently tell me that Ed and I would share the stage together someday. So thank you, Mom. Thank you for leading me to my wife. I miss you so much. To further that thank you, could you please tag Ed Sheeran below? And maybe if this gets enough attention, he and I will be able to sing this together on stage at a future show of his. Thank you so much for watching. Love you all.